As I sit relaxed, I visualize myself a sparkling divine being of light in the center of the forehead, sparkling with divine virtues. I am a divine being whose form is a point of light, who was created in the image and likeness of the Divine Father, God, Shiva Baba. The word Shiva means the benevolent one, the world benefactor, the point source, the seed. The word Baba means Father. His form is a point of light. His residence is a world filled with golden red light beyond the physical world. It is so far, yet so near. It is just a thought away. The more I remember my Divine Father, the more I remember His qualities. God, my Divine Father, is the ocean of qualities, the source of divine qualities. If I need love, all I need is to remember God, the source of love. The more I do this, the more I fill myself with divine love. If I need power, all I need is to remember God, the source of divine power. The more I do this, the more divine power flows through me. The secret or the main ingredient in divine empowerment is the remembrance of the divine. By remembering the divine, I establish the connection so that I am empowered. With divine empowerment, everything becomes easy, light, and happy. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Ellen once again welcoming you to our Saturday conversation. Welcome to the Inner Space second Saturday, which is also our conversation time. So today, we are celebrating with the rest of the world the International Day of Peace. But we wish to say that this should not just be celebrated on a day which is just March 8th, but I guess even some people right now have celebrated it a week and some for a month. But if we may suggest, women's celebration should be 365 days. So happy Women's Day for 365 days in a year. So welcome once again, all those of our viewers in the Facebook, those in the Zoom right now. Welcome, welcome. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning for those who are from the other side of the globe. So I would wish that everyone could be more excited right now because this is really an exciting and I would say a meaningful celebration, not just for women, but for everyone who has mothers, who has, and I don't think anyone has no mother at all. Those who have mothers, who have those sisters, daughters, grandmothers, and all the rest of humankind. Because today we will just not celebrate womanhood. We will not just celebrate the woman, but we will celebrate beyond the woman. So once again, welcome everyone to our Saturday conversation in the inner space. By the way, this is Ellen V. Luna, and I will be joined in this afternoon by two interesting women, women of substance, women of worth. But before I call them, let me just quote something here, which I got as my first greeting for Women's Day. Here is to the strong women. May we know them. May we be with them. And may we raise them. So, as I said earlier, we have two very interesting guests, two interesting persons who would share us their own experiences as women, as mother, as daughter, as sister. First, I would like to call on Miss Cora Alforque Hartzog. Miss Cora, Sister Cora, can you please join us here? And perhaps greet our viewers right now.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, good evening. As Sister Ellen said, everyone around the globe, Om Shanti. Happy Women's Days. Women's Days.
Yes.
Plural.
Thank you very much, Sister Cora.
Okay.
And now we would like also to be with us, our eternal moderator and our friend who has just come from, I always call her Lib Lib because she cannot be reached. And it's really getting to be thrilling every time it's already 4 o'clock. And I would say, where is our good friend? Tensi. But it never makes me tense. You know why? She comes. She comes. And of course, let us all welcome Sister Tensi Balisa Lisa Villa. Sister Tensi, please come. And perhaps you greet also our guests, our viewers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Whether you're up there, down under, on the left side of, of the north and the south poles, or on the right side. Hello to you all, and welcome to our weekly program.
So there are three women of us here, plus one who's be joining us later. And perhaps our very own Tensi here would introduce us to our topic right now. She was the one who once again labeled this particular topic. Sister Tensi?
This afternoon, our theme will be confluence. What really is confluence? Let's find out later, because we will be not only defining it, but explaining in so many ways what it really is.
Yes.
Yes. So, Miss Ellen, what have you in mind?
Well, earlier, Sister Cora and I were talking about what is confluence. And she was saying, it's a meeting of rivers, meeting of bodies of water, meeting of different personalities. It's like a, a convergence. And I think that is exactly what we're into right now. It's the meeting of minds, also the meeting of ideas, and it gets into a bigger body of water. If it is the river or rivers, then it gets into the ocean. So it merges with the ocean. So I guess that's how I would define confluence.
What do you think about it, Miss Cora?
First of all, when we were talking about what would be our topic for the Saturday, I was in awe when Tensi said confluence. So she's really an almanac. What is confluence? So when I went home, I look into the dictionary. I look into what is really, because for confluence was really, that was the first time I heard it. Oh, so when I look at the meaning, so like Sister Ellen said, it was merging of rivers. So, and it is also used in business world, like the merging of businesses. So they said confluent. Um, it would be a very challenging topic that we'll be discussing this afternoon, because merging waters, merging rivers, merging personalities and persons is a challenge. It's not easy.
But I think when we talk of confluence, it's something that's going to be new. It's something that would be an addition of a lot of resources. It would be an addition or a multiplication, perhaps,
Yeah.
of the different
Mm-mm.
benefits, no, that we can have on a confluence.
When I say confluence, in relation to our celebration this month, I mean confluence. To me, confluence is the meeting of hearts and minds. See, because our cultures, our civilization has divided humanity
Yeah.
into two genders, the male and the female genders. Actually, when we say gender, we really mean the feminine and the masculine genders. But modern day language and also culture has taken cognizance of the the individuals, the persons who show in their personalities both the feminine and the masculine genders. We call them as a whole the LGBT community. And as celebrators of International Women's Month, it would also be interesting for us to look into how we as human beings can unite towards one purpose, becoming confluent somewhere along the line, so that we do not create only order or non aggressive attitudes, but we really mold into one united, loving humanity. That would be the ideal of confluence for me.
That's a wonderful statement coming from you. And how I also wish that we could really come into that stage. And what do you think about that, Sister Cora?
Um, I would, yeah, it's great if we will be united, not divided according to gender. So I have actually I have a question with Sister Ellen a while ago. So if we use confluent, does it mean that for us to really understand it, we should be into a relationship, men and women, because it's a merging. So actually, it's a question that I want to challenge to the three of us.
Okay, when we talk of relationship,
uh,
sometimes you get to confine it with the relationship of man and woman, opposite sex. But as I was saying earlier, I think this time we go beyond the genders of man or women. And as Sister Tansy was saying earlier, there are already groups right now which we have to respect, no?
Yeah.
It's not just man and woman, but these groups are similar to us in one uh, word. They are creation. They are
We are all
they're
human
spirits. They
beings.
are human beings. So, as we have always been saying, these are human souls.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we have to recognize that each has a good quality. Each one has an inherent quality that is divine. So, this is where I think we're coming from when we discuss confluence. That's that's how I look at it, Sir Tensi. So perhaps
You're on the right track. Actually, when we think of humanity, we think of one entity, one creation. We are but a flood of souls journeying towards a final destination. But along the way, of course, we have to make life interesting. We see the various elements in nature, in human beings, and we we have to understand each of these, and we have to make use of them, develop them, and let them work towards our final goal. So let's say, of course, we are also divided by geography, and each race, each nationality is controlled by the factors, no, the elements in its environment. So we adapt to these environments that we find ourselves in, but at the same time, feeling for that massive gathering of same souls, but different colors, different languages and dialects, and different ways of doing things,
Yeah.
but always conscious of the fact that we move towards one direction, and somewhere along the line, we will realize that confluence that we have to achieve.
But before we do that confluence, perhaps it would be nice also to really dig in on the nature and qualities of the woman that we are celebrating this month, particularly during my last, was it yesterday? Yes.
Yesterday.
It was yesterday. And in fact, for some groups of women, they even started it on the first day of
Yeah.
March. So I was among those who was able to witness the inner wheel celebration, which was held March 1st. And it was conducted in real full color and with very interesting speakers. So in our case right now, how do we celebrate the women? The woman in you, the woman in me, and the woman in our parents, no? In our mothers rather. So can we start with our own experience of our mother? I
Miss
guess
Ko.
you're very rich in that. You're very rich in that.
Oh. I belong to a family that experienced three mothers because my
Three mothers.
three mothers because my father was a widower before he married my mother. And when my mother passed away, he found a good stepmother for us. And we do recognize these three women in our lives. In fact, I was with one of my brothers for older brothers for Christmas and New Year, and I had a lovely time with him. It's the experience is not, oh, he's my half brother, she's my half sister. No, it is just Manong and Ading, the Ilocano way. My older brother and I, his younger sister. But really, in our family, there are 10 of us siblings, five
Your
male.
mom must be very strong, or your stepmother to be taking care of How many of you?
Ten.
All in all?
10. 3 elder brothers by my dad's first nuptia, 4 by his second, which is my batch, my group, and I'm the eldest there, and then 3 again after us
So
by my
10.
stepmother.
10.
But there are 10 of us, 5 male, 5
How did your
female.
mother manage that? I don't, I, I don't, I don't hear you say stepmother. You always say my mother.
My
So there was really no difference.
Oh, she was just a mom.
She was a mom. She was a
Yes.
mom.
She was a mom.
Very proud of her elder her elder children, very proud of us, and also proud of her own.
What makes you proud of your mother, if I may ask?
Oh, she was very affectionate, very thoughtful of us, and very,
Was there no syndrome of the stepmother?
we found that too in the people who watched us, because when we grew up in the forests. We grew up in logging concessions because my father was into that industry. Sometimes we had guests who wanted to dig into our lives because they knew my father was a widower before he married my stepmother. So they would interview us when, of course, when my mom wasn't around.
Nagmarites.
Marites, yes. Marites, and also mga tolits. Even the male were curious. So
Your mom must be so, such tenacity, because taking care of 3 children from the first and another 3 from your batch.
four from our
4,
batch.
7 all in all. And then having her
Her
own
own.
biological children.
Yes.
That's so easy. So your mother must have been outstanding.
Oh, she was. And all of us say, if she weren't around, we would really be different personalities, because society as a whole, in general, would look down on the stepmother. No? Oh, she's not your own, so she will not treat you as her own. But she was different. And we're all
And I think
grateful.
because of the cliche that you always hear that stepmothers are this and that, but I
Yes.
don't think
You know, in
it's
Because of the Cinderella story.
yes,
yeah,
in
it
yes,
destroyed
yes.
Yeah.
In fact, in literature and in the women's movement, there is this impression that our fairy tales are not fair.
Yeah,
true.
true.
That's true. So she was really just the mother as it should be.
Yes.
Nurturing, persevering.
And always considering how we, as the elder siblings of her own
Yeah.
little ones, would feel
It's
if
unimaginable for
Yeah.
me.
True.
10 all in all, with
Yeah.
only 3 as biological children. And
yes,
how
but
could she be fair? I mean, uh, it's not really that, even among same biological mother, there's
Yeah.
always this jealousy that would exist. But
we didn't have time to be jealous.
I love that. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
Because you were all into studies,
Yes,
Excel.
yes. And we were in such an interesting environment all the time that we really had no time to be jealous of one
And on
another.
top of that, I think you were all loved.
Oh, yes. My dad, even when he was abroad, he would want us to report to him the happenings of every day.
That's
So we had to
interest.
write letters. And when he was in the forest of Zamboanga, we were in the city doing our studies. He would send a truck sometime during the week to get our reports, our letters to him.
Wow. That's wonderful to hear.
Yeah.
Let's hear from Cora right now. Cora, what is
Um,
your experience with your mom, or let's say your sister this time?
My My mother first.
Okay, your mother, yes.
Well, me, my brother, and my siblings describe our mother as the epitome of a woman.
Wow. Why
Yeah.
do you say that?
She's kind, very compassionate, very helpful, loving. She has all the qualities of a great mother. So, just an example, we grew up. My dad came from a farming community, and then my grandfather doesn't want his children to be educated. So my father really has to do his own stuff in order for him
So how did
to
your mom
finish.
react on that? Your mom,
My mother was very supportive with. So what happened when they got married? Papa's bringing some of his nephews and nieces to be educated, and so is Mama. And then
so
imagine
she
she
never
never you
made any protest with
any
budgets.
complain,
Oo.
nothing. And
So
that's
compassionate is
very
the word for your
compassionate is the
mom.
word. And she's a teacher. So if she has a student who doesn't have money to buy pencil or paper, she will provide.
Such generosity too.
Very, yeah,
Kindness, generosity.
and there was one time that the school, they have to open another class, and there was no available classroom. So what my mother did, she offered our living room as classroom. That's
Wow.
how she's she's a legend when you talk about family, the clan, the education. So yeah, everybody is really. That's why this time we are really reaping the good deeds of our parents.
Particularly your mother, I guess.
Mother,
Because if
my
she was not
mother.
also supportive,
Yeah.
I don't think your father could be
Mm.
that, and also how would I say it? He would not be that free
Yeah.
also to do
To do what
whatever
he wants to
wanted.
do.
Okay.
Yeah. As for my sisters, I have very supportive sisters, though, of course, in the family, there's always squabble. I mean,
Yes.
petty
It
things.
always happens.
It always happens,
Yeah.
but we always make it sure that, like, at the end of the day, we talk, we discuss things. So that's why we said, oh, sometimes we have a joke. We
Yeah.
really love each other so much. We have to blame our parents because they always tell us to help each other,
Yes.
love each other.
That's wonderful. It's a nice family to have love as as its center.
At the center.
Yes. And in my case naman, I would like to see another role of the woman, which is the teacher. Our mothers were also our teachers. But even in school, I love my female teachers, my teachers who really were our second mother also. Well, we spend the days at home or hours at home. But when we go to school, our second mother are our teachers.
teachers.
Yes. And I would like to say thank you for all my women teachers, because they were really, I would say, an extension of the nurturing mother. They were an extension of the understanding person whom we could talk to, and we can be able to understand better life. And with teachers, we also have our co-pupils, our co-students, who were also our shoulders to lean on. And I remember my best friend, and she was just there to listen to me. She was the woman who would, the girl, I guess, who would celebrate with me simple birthdays, simple things like Sundays, just to be together. And I don't know, but there's just an intimate relationship that we create among women. And we can talk things out.
Yeah.
We are more open. That's why we have less mental health cases. So I guess that's also one of those things that makes women different in terms of qualities.
Coping
Yeah,
also.
in coping.
Coping things.
Yeah. So even the psychologists right now, there are more women who has empathy,
Yeah.
who delivers empathy in terms of the men who would rather be the strong one outside. But this is not being biased about it, but I believe that women have their own strength, not perhaps physical strength that the men have, but women show the strength that otherwise others would not be able to imagine.
I think it is also to the credit of the men that they want to be protective of their women.
Yes.
We see that in, in the mountain folk. In the mountains, there is no such thing as ladies first.
Okay.
When the population walks the hills or the valleys, it's always the men who go ahead of the family. Why? Because they have to hold the bolo that will clear the path for the family.
Okay.
See? So they have to be ready with their equipment to be protective of their families. So the women, they're the ones who carry the children. And the children, they were the ones who carried the cooking implements, the tools. But see, that's the family. And I suppose that is also true in the other cultures. In the West, I heard or I studied, that's also true. The men are protective of their families.
I guess the area of protection, the man protects the women and the children. Similarly, the women protect the children, girls or boys, because they are the ones who nurture and really
Yes.
make things happen. Growth of the children is really a responsibility that's given to mothers, since they're the ones who are nursing and they're the ones who are there more often than the father.
Yeah.
But altogether, they protect the family.
They do.
So I guess men and women, I mean, we have the same qualities
Yes.
because as human beings and soul, we have, the same characteristics. I want to go back to what Sister Tensi was saying about the culture, I mean, the geographical condition.
Yeah.
Actually, it really affects also the mores and values of
Correct.
the people.
I agree.
Like in the first world countries, first world, it's not good to say that, no, first
Yes.
world and third
It's,
world.
it's dividing the countries.
In the
It's
north,
dividing world.
The more developed countries, I guess their women are less how will I say it? Subservient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Less
but
timid.
less timid and subservient. But in the less developed countries, I guess it's better than third world.
Can we be very
Yeah.
political about it?
Political.
Okay.
So in the first world, I mean in the
Underdeveloped
underdeveloped
Yes.
or
or developing
countries,
countries.
countries.
I
Okay.
guess subservience and timidity are still there.
So, so.
you know why that is?
Yeah, the
Because
patriarchal world or
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. Before we get to that, I think we should get some, how do you call this? Some interlude as Miss Princess D here would give us the golden drops.
Joining us at this juncture is Miss D,
Mrs.
Lady
D.
Daniela of our group, who will share with us her own ideas, her own notions, and experiences about being a female in their family.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, being one of the women in our home, which is I have a sister, my mother, my grandmother, and my little brother. So, being a woman is you need to accept your flaws of who you are and also be confident of everything you do and treat yourself what you deserve and also be mindful for everything you do you surround and also um giving your best for everything.
That's lovely, Miss D.
Yes.
And Miss Cora, I think when we were growing up, the challenges were different from the challenges that Miss Daniela is meeting right now, because we belong to a different generation. You of the technology centered society have different challenges. When we were growing up, school was quite
Yeah.
simple, right?
Um, depends on how, sometimes it's complicated. Depends on how the family um expect of your standing.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I guess you have a very challenging because your father might like excellence or something, but there were challenges.
I think I grew up in a competitive milieu
Mm.
because uh, you see, I belong to a special group in our school, and in that group, we were very friendly with one another
Mm-mm.
outside the classroom. But in the classroom, we were competitive all the time. We did not give each other hints about quizzes coming, or we didn't share new things we discovered in the library. No, we didn't. We all surprised one another in the classroom. However, that really didn't matter at all when we were among ourselves. We were our friendly selves. We were our friendly selves inside the classroom and out. But when it came to quizzes and experiments, we were very competitive.
Yeah.
At the same time, we had to be sympathetic,
Mhm.
because that is one quality of the woman that we cannot get away from, and we always have to, to display, to show, because naturally we are sympathetic.
Yeah.
How about your experience, Miss D?
Being I think being a woman, you can you so sometimes you consider to be like they saying that woman is the light of how in the house of the family, which you need to provide your children, also your husband, that you need to give them light when they are in darkness. So you need to support them whenever what the children wants to experience, like as you said in school activities that they want, what are their also their dreams they wanted to, and also towards your husband to support, give some uh what you call to support work, of course, as in modern, I don't know, in the past that woman would stay home and the husband will get the job to
Not anymore, Miss Cora.
Not
Being
anymore.
a nurse.
Not now. That was long time ago. Yeah. So as far as like experiences, the generational difference, I don't think there is really a great difference. Only now the technology. So it still goes to the class, the societal hierarchy levels. Like the farmers, the people in the farm, the girls there, the women there are still, patriarchal. But yeah, that's the patriarchal. Are
Set.
still
Yeah.
work hard, exploited, and oppressed.
Oppressed.
Yeah. My point is how you grow up being a woman still depends on which society you belong. Like middle class, yeah, the class.
Mhm.
It's just your class.
Oh, I wish we were classless.
Genderless, classless.
But fortunate because, you know, our Father, our Supreme Creator, our Maker, gave us a whole world to enjoy. So we, as His children, should really make the most of His gifts to us, our environment, our world, and ourselves, one another. We should enjoy one another's companies. And among the the beings we should enjoy with should be the men in our lives, our fathers, our brothers, our neighbors, our friends. But all the time, showing and displaying and being the female that we are, you know, gentle, kind-hearted, and loving. No? As Miss Daniela said, she belongs to a family of 3 women and a brother. So I'm sure all of you 3 women in your family dote on your one and only little brother. And Miss Cora, you belong to a big family
Big
too.
family, yeah.
But-
We are 5. 3 girls, 2 men.
Mhm. I think I'm the one who belongs to the biggest family here. 5 men and 5 women in a family. But
Equal in numbers.
yes, equal in numbers, but managing to be a peaceful community. So I really think all of us would be capable of this. However, the challenges in our particular agrupations, in our societies, oh gosh. There is a question from our audience, from a viewer. Question: what can make the International Women's Day celebration meaningful? Sister Cora, could you manage an answer?
The celebration itself, I guess, what we are doing, discussing discussing about the right the women. There are different groups who are really celebrating International Women's Day.
The whole world.
The whole world is
is
celebrating. So for me, it is up to each group how you celebrate the International Women's Day. Education, fora like what we are doing now.
Mm.
And I guess that's more meaningful. than parade, because parade is only one day. And then after that, it's more on education. And as I said, what we are doing now is one way of celebrating a meaningful celebration of International Women's
And
Day.
educating our companions in the audience too. But in the families where we are, there is where we can plant the roots of equality and recognition of women. How do we do that in our family? Miss Ellen, you have two daughters and a son.
You know, I think it's just going beyond the woman in each of us. Each of us, as we have been earlier recognized, say that every woman is a protector, just like the males.
Mhm.
They protect in a different way, in a special way, not perhaps physically protecting the wife or the children, but the woman, in terms of educating the child, protects the child, protects the girl or boy from any harm, because education somehow makes people think and are able now to see what is their rights rather, and they're able to see what they can be, what they can become. I think for the mothers particularly, they are the first to educate and at the same time to give their children that affirmation of their goodness.
Yes.
Mothers are there to celebrate every day their children's not just existence, but their children's presence.
Yes.
So I guess from the very beginning, mothers have always been there, not just as nurturers, but protectors, supporters, as you were saying earlier. The women are the support of the husband, as much as the husband is also much supported by the women in their lives. And I think this is not just between families, not just between husband and wife, but this goes also even in the office, right? It's no longer a man's world or a woman's world, although that is there. But right now, I think because of the multitasking and the way we are recognizing each and everyone's power, it has become a different uh, notion. I mean, we're moving out from that so-called patriarchal, although it's still very dominant. It's still very dominant.
But I think governments all over the world are working towards the recognition of the equality between the genders, because women by themselves have also become empowered.
Empowered women.
Empowered women, yes.
Are you empowered?
Miss D.
Yes, madam. I am empowered also. Um, but the question is, how is International Women's Day meaningful? It is because we need to celebrate also the mothers who are solo parents, especially not just the mother but a father. Also because
Mother and father.
yeah. um being strong and independent, then how they manage the children's alone without the support of their partners.
Spouses.
Yes.
And there are more women, there are more solo mothers than solo fathers. Yes,
Yeah.
it was a very good point you're giving us today.
Yes.
And also those who have been widowed.
We don't.
Widowed, yes. Actually, society, if it wants to move on, has to come from a standpoint of equality. Otherwise, one of the members of the genders would be left out. So we should really move forward together. hand in hand, heart by heart, so that we move forward together and we make not only International Women's Day, but life meaningful, because we all have to move on and somewhere along the line be confluent with one another.
I'm sure at this point, Sister Tensi, uh, Danny here could help us with some interactions that we can have from the FB group. So she will have to exit at this point to give us more questions coming from the rest of our viewers. But it's really interesting, no, how we just don't not just celebrate the women right now, but we celebrate everyone's contributing to each of our lives.
Yes.
The men, the women, and the other.
Everyone.
Everyone.
Yes. The men, the women.
So each of us really should contribute to the movement of a, of
A better world.
for a better world. Yes. And what more? What do we really, where should we come from? I think it should be the standpoint of recognizing one another and giving one another a chance to develop his and her own capabilities and powers, understanding the weaknesses of one another, so that we together as one humanity would move on. There will be no skirmishes here and there, or I really think it's simply competition that would hinder us from achieving the confluence that we want to arrive at.
Yes, very true. I agree with you. The competition could really be one of the barriers. But
Yes.
when we learn to say the other word, which is collaboration
Collaboration.
and
Yes.
cooperation, I think that will make a better world for each and everyone, man or woman.
Jealousy too, and greed.
Oh, they would be a big barrier towards confluence.
Do we have any reactions from our audience at this point? Miss D?
No?
Okay. She's still scrolling them. So if you have any things that you would like to clarify, we still have about 5 minutes to do that. But in the meantime, is there any song that you would be inspired to as a woman?
Miss Cora, what inspires? What's your theme song with Brad Richard?
We don't have a theme song.
No, as a woman, I mean,
Babae ka.
babae ka. I know I remember this song, Because You Love Me.
Um,
I don't sing, but
Oh.
that song.
Oh, because you love me.
Yes.
I really think every woman should be loved, not only by the men, but by herself
That's
to
true.
begin
That's
with.
true. And when you talk of celebrating the woman, it's really celebrating me. It's
Yes.
celebrating you and it's celebrating us. So Women's Day would find its meaning only if we are able to see each other as gifts, and we see each other's goodness and inherent qualities, being nurturing, being patient, being persevering, being
Resilient.
selfless, no? Being
Be-
able to support.
Yes. Being generous
Independent.
and independent.
So the woman is that strong, Just a few days ago, one of our staff delivered a baby boy, and the husband was so happy. But along the way, the husband realized how the wife has been so strong that despite the 9 months that she was carrying the baby, she never had any complaint.
Yeah.
And the childbirth itself is something that, some men would not really be able to realize because they don't go through it. But I guess that's one of those things that really makes a woman so strong and uncomparable to men to bear a 9-month-old baby
9
for
months.
9 months.
And
And then the delivery.
the moment of
Oh.
delivery.
That's
Now
true.
you who
Yes.
delivered babies, what can you share with the world? With me?
That was
The most painful one.
that's the co-creating area. But
Yeah.
I think every woman who has been there would always say thank you
Mm.
for surviving, and at the same time, the gift of another life, being able to be part of that,
Yeah.
delivering another human being.
Like it's an active participation of reproduction,
In creation.
creation.
Yes. Also, the world has to be grateful to the mothers,
Mm.
to all the mothers in the world.
And we will talk more about that
Mm.
in May, Mother's Month.
Mother's Month.
Yes. Now it's Women's Month.
Yes.
Actually, some of my friends in the NGO world ask, why is there an International Women's Day and nothing about an International Men's Day?
Because, as we were saying earlier, we have only appropriated a day for women, but this has to be celebrated 365 days of the year. So whether it's going to be man or woman, it's celebrating life, it's celebrating the being,
Yes.
which is eternal, which doesn't die. And I think that's my take for the day. And I would like to ask right now if there is any question coming from Cake. Can you read it, please?
How can we foster a sense of belonging for women from diverse backgrounds? Diverse, probably by nationality or economic backgrounds. Miss Cora, you the nurse, how can we foster a sense of belonging for women from diverse backgrounds?
It's a hard question. This is not a Miss Universe question. How can we foster a sense of belonging for
Women
different backgrounds.
from
different-
diverse backgrounds?
Well, so maybe we can do more education and form more women's group.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I do
and
agree
then
with you, especially when you talk of education, simply
Education.
because some societies would really have this very extreme clash of of differences
Of
or
the
sense of belonging to other groups. But once we educate people as not
right.
just poor or
Mm.
rich, having this and having none, if we go beyond, as we were saying earlier, the man or the woman and seeing each other as beautiful
Mm.
and eternal beings, I think this would really make a difference and make us each belong to the other. And
I guess women's groups like this,
Mhm.
and then we can share with like we have international friends, different because if we talking about diversity, so different culture, maybe we can do lots of forum, lots of education, so we can come up with something that all women belongs we belong.
yeah, and I think the common denominator is
Mm.
we are not just men, women, or whatever we would like to call them, but we are genderless since we are all spiritual
So-
beings. And spirits have no gender.
Yeah.
So I guess that sense of belonging would come from us being
Aware and educated of
being
our,
universal, yung
Yeah.
universal identity as souls.
You see, there's the reality of our diverse backgrounds, culturally, economically. No? I believe we should face these, embrace the differences, and work towards a commonality.
yeah.
Commonality.
A commonality. That would, if we work hard enough, if we work every day, no?
Some people would say that's easier said than done. Which
Easier
is true.
said than done, but
Which is true.
we can always try.
Yes,
We can
yes.
Actually,
always
it's
And
a
take
long,
the first step. And
it's a-
take the first
it's
step.
a long struggle,
Yeah.
actually.
It is.
It's a
And
long journey,
Journey and
Yes.
struggle.
let us look at our own heroines, like Princess Urduja, um, Doña
Marcela.
Marcela,
Silva,
and yes, and
Diego Sila's
Jeg-
wife.
yes. Actually,
More questions.
they had their own struggles and they coped with the challenges of their times. So each of them, they coped with the problems of their times, the challenges. So we have our own challenges now.
Okay, this is very related with the question that was being sent here through another FB viewer. What challenges have you faced as a woman?
As a woman, my challenges as a woman, oh well, I have had and I still am competing with the men in journalism.
You know, what made you say that competing with the men in journalism?
Because
Men's world.
the men think they have a right to be first with the scoops. No? And very often, the media person of today has to run after the personages that he or she wants to interview. And the men, of course, they run faster. They get to their goals first. But the women can be clever. They can do their own homework and come up with their interview online.
Yes.
For me,
What's your challenge?
at this time,
Versus as a journalist, what about you as a nurse or as a
no,
mother?
for me at this age and
Okay,
time,
uh-huh.
my challenge is not just being a woman, but a challenge as a human being, a grandmother, a mother, still a mother, and community health work. What's this? Community work.
Organizer.
These are the challenges. I don't face the day-to-day challenge as a woman, but I face the day-to-day challenge as a human being.
May I also share my own experience of the
Yes,
challenge?
please do.
Of course, this is really getting into memory lane because, as a woman, you have to be twice a man. So that's the way competition was in the sales.
Yeah.
And even in promotions, if this is a patriarchal society, let us face that. And during my time, it's really funny that I didn't understand it. I was asking questions. Why is there promotion here? And but now I realize that challenge I had to go through so I can understand better what a patriarchal system is. So I accept it as it was. But then that time I was in regret why I was then a woman because I had to prove myself twice. But now nothing to prove because I guess
You have
being a
succeeded.
woman, no, because being a woman is already a success.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Because remember, half of the world depends on us.
And they were saying that half of the world is carried by the woman. There's another question.
What would you advise? What would your advice be for women just starting out in this industry? Which industry?
In duty or what? I also don't know.
This, I suppose this is industry.
Okay.
Hmm? Just starting out in this industry, probably economics,
Perhaps.
What industry?
what industry is it?
Perhaps in her own workplace.
In her own workplace?
I would just like to understand it that way.
Oh, you know
Okay.
what? For me, basically, I'm a teacher, I'm an educator, and a writer. I think I would be myself.
Yes.
I want to promote uh, advice for the woman starting out in this industry. Whatever industry it is, production, sales, marketing, services, like nursing, medicine,
Profession, yes.
writing. I would just be myself, and I would make myself the best of what I can be.
The best
Yeah.
version of yourself. I
Yes.
love that. Being the best version of yourself.
Yes.
And sometimes you don't even have to prove it, you know?
No.
It will come because it is inherent in each one of us that there is a quality that we just have to discover, and we don't have to be like
Everybody
other.
else.
like that person or this person. I think it's again going back to the inner self. It's discovering what is
Who
best
are
for me.
you?
Who am I?
Who am I?
Who am I?
Yes. Who am I?
Yes, score.
Yeah, that's what, who am I? So it depends on what industry, as we said, she is referring or he is referring. So, I mean, how to face the challenges, just be, I would like to second the motion, just be who you are and make sure you do good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, true.
And be the best of what you are and what you can be.
True.
If you're a teacher,
Study hard.
Students will
Yeah.
study, but even teachers do
Oh,
study.
they have,
study.
we have
I
to
mean,
study
Yeah.
so we can impart.
Right.
Any
Mm.
profession, you really have to study.
The best.
And
To
then
give
even
your
if,
best.
even if you're already, if you finished already, you're working,
Yeah.
you still have to study how to better your, your
Yourself,
job or
yeah.
yourself.
Yes. How you can share
Yeah.
yourself with humanity as a
True.
whole. So we really are very fortunate because right now we are able to share our experiences and our expectations and our dreams with our brothers and sisters online.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And thank you very much to everyone right now who is
Yes.
watching us, who are watching us rather. And we have some good news for everyone. This is our first Saturday conversation for the month of March, where we celebrate Women's Days, Women's Days. And we have a big surprise for you coming in on our second Saturday conversation, which is March 23. We will have again, guess who?
I think I know.
A very special
Per-
soul
Mhm.
who will be joining us all the way from France again. And I think you know her. We will have Sister Denise, as we have invited her for our celebration of Women's
Women's
Days. So I hope we will all be there, and let's take this as a date for everyone. Come Saturday, March 23, let's all have our second part of the
Confluence.
confluence. Thank you very much.
Thank you for being with us this afternoon,
Yes.
or evening, or morning, wherever you are.
Okay, thank you for having me.
You'll always have you as long as
Yeah.
you're here. I know you're leaving for Siargao and happy
Sorry,
trip.
Gal. Thank you.
Enjoy your stay there, Miss Cora. Thank you
So-
very much, everyone.
Let's give ourselves some moments of silence right now as we go through our ending meditation. So we wind up with our last few words, perhaps from Cora and for all of us here. Would you have some parting words for our viewers?
Um, thank you for for being part of our celebration for International Women's Day. Though we always say, why only one? We should celebrate women the whole year round.
True.
And more challenges. Face the challenge of being a woman. Thank you.
That's very true.
Thank you for the privilege of being with you this afternoon. And also, let us remember to celebrate Women's Day every day of the 365 days we are gifted with by our Father.
So thank you. With full gratitude here right now, we would like to say goodbye for the moment and see you next Saturday with our meditation and the following Saturday with our Saturday conversation once again with Sister Denise. Bye-bye.
But we have the midday on Wednesday.
Yes, that's true.
12:30.
See you there too on our
Yeah.
midweek meditation.
Midday, midweek. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kuwang ang oras.